Good evening, guys. Gonna do a late one here. I'm gonna get started pretty quick. Just got back from a basketball banquet, so everyone's excited. I'm gonna wait for a couple people to come on before we get too far into it, but I'm gonna try to not get everything all over the floor here, but I'm gonna get this ready because I'm gonna bring the pup out. Good evening, Trace and Matt and Mark. I'm gonna get some stuff off of my porch here that I had set out. What I want to do is start right out. We're gonna take Wyatt Anderson's in. Welcome, Wyatt. Carrie, good evening. Shaldag. Sophia Costa. I think Sophia is new. Welcome, Sophia. KM Cutters is in. KM Cutters and I had some emailing going on today, or some messaging. Jim Heath. Okay, I'm gonna start out. I'm gonna spin here. We're gonna do a couple things. I hope Chris is on. Borgman, I hope you're here because we're gonna do something tonight. Show you what we're gonna do with Allie and Windsor. We're gonna start out like we did this afternoon. This little pup, if you didn't see this afternoon, has been moved up. She's moved up in the apartment life. Bigger crate. She doesn't like it. She's real unsettled in it. But the same routine is going to happen. Stephanie, welcome. Kyle's in. Chris Kangas is in. Where'd all the lettuce go? Boy, you guys, nothing slips by you. April, Brian, Chris. Welcome, everybody. Clint, Corey. So, back to the same thing that we did this morning. Or this afternoon, I kind of got one in midday. Spry. Spry's learning to come out under control out of that kennel. It's a new kennel. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Spry. Come here. Sit. Sit. We're also working on control during strange times. So I'm going to open this door. I want her to sit. This is a habit that I like. My door's open. My dog doesn't bolt out. Spry. Very good. Very good. It's going to be hard for you guys to see her. We're going to let her out. She's going to go to the bathroom. Then I'm going to work on getting her right back in. We're going to start our routine for tonight. It's going to be different tonight. Good girl. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Hurry up. See that nice little recall? So I got on her before she had a chance to really get out. Hurry up. Hurry up. Now she was out not too long ago, so I don't know if she'll have to go. Hurry up. I'm not going to let her get at a big distance to me. So it's hard to see. I apologize at night here. Anthony Quinn in. Dennis in. Sophia is new. Welcome, Sophia. We'll explain what we're going to do here. Doug, I think Doug might be new. Mike Clark, good evening. So we got some new people. Guys, what we're going to do is we're talking about Spry here. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Hurry up, hurry up. I'm trying to get her. No. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Very good. Oh, I wish you could see this daytime, guys, because she's really responsive, which is nice coming off of what we struggled with. I don't think she has to go to the bathroom. I had her out not too long ago. I'm bringing her in. You'll notice a few changes. All the beds are tipped up. So I ran into a little bit of a problem this morning where I had these beds. Now, I left some doors open here. I'm really working through new areas of the house with her under control. Come here. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Sit. Very good. So this is huge for us. Those who are new, Sophia, Doug, if you've been watching, I don't know if you've been watching live much. For you guys, some of you guys that are new, this is something that's on my list of things to talk about tonight. I want to catch everyone up to where we're at because I feel like we've got a new wave of people that are coming in on these. And the reason I think that is because I'm judging it or basing it off of some of the questions that I've been getting. Now, a lot of the questions are beginner questions that we've talked a lot about. I don't care. I'm a broken record. I'll repeat all this stuff, guys. So the people that have been with us for a while, you're going to hear it twice. But you're going to hear it. You've already heard it a million times anyway. You guys know how repetitive I am about stuff. I don't think this whole dog training thing is that complicated. I think it's understanding and being very consistent. So this is a nice change for her to be in on this stuff and be completely. Now it says there's only. You guys still in on this? I feel like it's telling me there's no one watching right now. Is nobody watching? I can't believe that the number's right. So let me bring the computer up here and see if we've got this live or not. Yeah, it's telling me we've got one person. It can't be more, just one person. There's all these thumbs. Who's all the thumbs coming from? Anyway, I'm not going to worry about the number. But so Robbie Schmidt joined in. Robbie, thank you to you and Jennifer for the card this week. Yeah, I just I don't know. It looks like the numbers are on the. It says there's one person watching, but if I'm basing it on thumbs, we got more than one. So Chris Borgman just joined in. Chris, your name came up earlier. I'm going to be touching on something Chris and I talked about earlier this week. We won't worry about the number on top. It only shows one here too, but I just don't believe it. So they're lying to us. Anyway, let's keep rolling with this. This is a beautiful extended remote sit. I gotta praise that because it was about to boil over. It was about to melt down. All right, come here. Very good. So you can see I like her tempo. Come here, come here. I like her tempo. She's full of life. Sit, sit. But I get that change, and that's really what excites me these days. So we do have some new followers, and so what I'm going to do is I want to figure out how I'm going to do this because Chris Borgman had a question earlier today. I'm going to leave her on sit. Part of what it was he was talking about feeding two dogs at the same time. I'm going to show him what I meant. I tried to explain it, and I had a hard time typing it probably. So to do this, I want to get something. So this is a drill that I want to show Chris, and any of you guys with multiple dogs can do this. Chris's problem is he's trying to work dogs on remote. He's got Windsor, who's a little antsy and likes to break. And he's got Allie that's real flat. Not real flat, but real under control. More mature. Handles the situation better with the distractions. So what I'm going to do is show you a drill that I think you can do. I told Chris to separate the dogs. So he sent me a video where he was separating the dogs. And he was putting one on one side of the room. Let's say it's over here. And then he had one on the other side of the room, let's say over here. And then he had his food over here on the other side of the room. And then what he was doing was he was over here with the older dog, Allie, and he was sending that dog on the food. And Windsor over here was breaking, okay? So I told him, change your setup and make that work a little bit easier in your favor and set yourself up for success. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna line these dogs up in a line. I'll explain how I'm gonna do that. But I'm trying to think right now off the top of my head, I'm going to do this little drill with our big dogs. I'm going to use Taylor and I'm going to use Ellie. But what I want to do is figure out how do I get something good out of this for little Spry. Because Spry is being phenomenal right now. So you can blow that up with all the blue thumbs and pink hearts you want. That'll at least tell me there's more than one person watching right now. But so I love that she is just really, really settling in nicely. So April Marie's giving us all the pink love. I love it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. In order to do this, I want to make this successful for her too. Come here. So I'm going to change this up, and I'm going to take her over to this side of the room. Place, come on, place. Come on. I'm going to help her up. Place. Get up. Let's see. So not a lot of light there. I'm going to turn some light on. So during this drill, our little Spry is going to have to work on something. And it's going to be something that she already knows how to do. I'm not doing something new here. I'm going to do it. She already knows how to do it. But it's place training. For those who are new, we talk about a lot of place training stuff. I'm going to turn some lights on. So our place training allows us to do stuff like this. So this is a 12-week-old puppy that now I have confidence in moving off and going and getting these other dogs to do a drill for you. Now, we did not start place training overnight, guys that are new. It takes a while. We've got several people right now that are struggling with it. And so we're going to talk about how do we get through that. So I'm getting these guys food ready. You can see everyone is relatively attentive right now. Whoops. Dropping bowls, nice little desensitization to loud noises. Look who's still over here being as good as she should be. That's perfect. I'm going to spin this around so we can see she stays. Now, someone asked me the question about floating the food. How much water? You see how much food I had in there? Just enough to float it. See how it's all floating? That's all I'm going to use. Now, here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to set the line of food up. So Chris, this is what I'm talking about. You set your food on one end of the room, and then we take both dogs. So I'm going to use Ellie as Windsor, because Windsor is the one that is a bit unsteady right now, and Chris is struggling with Windsor being patient and steady while he sends Ellie first. Ellie, come here. So I'm going to bring Ellie out, sit, and put Ellie there. So, Taylor, come here. Taylor, come here. Sit. So, we've got two dogs. So before, Chris was setting it up with one dog where Ellie is, one dog where the bowl of food is, and the bowl of food is over there where Spry is. Then he was coming over to this side and sending the dog on that bowl of food. And the problem he was having was this dog that was over here, Windsor, was breaking. Josh, welcome Josh. Chris and Jolene in, Eric in, Steve Aiken in, Cody Miller, Daniel Preston, Clint, Cody. Boy, a lot of new people. Great. I don't know how many people are on right now. It says one, but that can't be true. So this is what I want you to switch to, Chris. I want you to do the food on one end. So when I try to explain it to him, draw a straight line, put yourself in the middle, and Windsor on the back end of it. So now I'm going to flip this around so you can see this. This is just something very simple that you can run in your house, Chris. Set that there. Bowl of food's right here. I come over to here. I get Taylor lined up, so this is going to be your alley. Windsor's going to be back behind you, Chris. You're going to line up Taylor, and you're going to send Taylor for the food. Now look who's behind me. Ellie's there. She didn't break. Now if Ellie broke and she wasn't supposed to, Chris, where are you? You're in between the food and the dog. So you're going to be able to and stop it with a second it happens, like in its tracks. You'll be able to instantly stop her. But go ahead, you can eat. So that's the drill I want you to set up, Chris. Then when you find success with that, and Windsor realizes that he's got to be patient, he's got to wait, he's got to wait his turn, then you can start making an angle. So you can have the food here, you can go over here with Allie, and you can start to spread Windsor out. And then as you build confidence, you can start spreading out even more and more and more. So baby steps incrementally. You're going to start out with the safest bet in the world. You're in between him and the food. If he breaks, he can't get through you. You can correct it so instantly and so quickly. So just by changing the setup that you have, you'll have a lot more success with that. So that's the drill we're going to do with these guys. So I'm going to feed these guys right now. Let's see. Around. So we've got Taylor eating. Now I can do this same thing. Let's reverse this. Taylor, come here. Taylor, come on. So, good control to be able to call her off that food. Super submissive. Watch the licking of the lips, okay? That's submissive, guys. When you walk up to your dog and you see the licking of the lips, that's submission. Those ears back, nice happy tail, very good. So this goes back to last night's call-in that we did with Jennifer. Guys that are new, girls that are new, we did a live call-in last night with Jennifer. Jennifer has some aggressive tendencies with her dog Todd, and so we talked about things that she can do. It's a lot of food aggression, so we talked about some things that we can do to try to change that pack, where that dog is in the pack within their house. These are things I look for. These licking of the lips. It's completely submissive. She's drooling. Pavlov, she's ringing the bell right now. Taylor, very good. Licking of the lips. That's really good. So let me switch these guys around. Taylor, come here. You sit, Ellie. I will not allow her to move. She's on sit. She should not be moving. Taylor, come here. So I can leapfrog these guys. Sit. Now I can run the same. Ellie, heel. Sit. Now I can run the same drill. Taylor, Ellie, the food. So you can flip-flop this, Chris, and you can put Windsor in the back and have him be steady. Then you can give him a reward and let him be in front. The whole while, what are we doing? We're not paying attention to any of that going on, right? So we've talked about how that is going to be unacceptable. You know, we're going to work short. We're not going to work real long with her tonight. But now I line Ellie, and I can send her on the food, no different. So that's a drill for you, Chris, to start working on separating these dogs. Now I'm going to give this one to Ellie. Now Ellie gets pretty gobbly. Come here. Sit. Ellie gets pretty excited when you come up to her on her food. So I'm going to show you that again. Actually, this is Taylor's. So here's a good resistance of temptation. You can see where her focus is. I'm just going to feed Taylor and let her eat. So you can see where Ellie's focus is. She's really looking to me. This is what we talk about, guys, when we talk about the eyes. We want to own the eyes. This is me owning the eyes later down the road. I'm starting to figure out how to own the eyes of the mouth over there. Now you can see when I walk around, see it. When I walk around, there's a bowl of food right next to her, and the eyes are right here. She's looking to me. She knows where the next direction's going. A lot of value in that bumper to her. That bumper has more value to her than that bowl of food. But what I really want to do, good morning, good evening, Missy. Jason Perryman joined in. Welcome, Jason. Chris is in, so you saw it, Chris. Carrie's in. So, again, that is a lot more valuable than that bowl of food to that dog. Ellie, here. Very good. Ellie. Ellie, here. Here. She proved me wrong. Ellie, no, here. Here. So, there the food proved more valuable. Ellie. Ellie. No. Very good. Now I'm confusing her. Ellie. No. Ellie. Good. 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 Ellie. Good. Find it. Find it. Find it. Very good. Hold. 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 Good. Nothing. All this is just mixing some things up for this dog. It's just practicing all these little drills. It's a little fun games before we're eating. So this is stuff you can do with your old dogs. As long as they have the foundation. As long as they got it. As long as you can do this stuff without losing control. Ellie. Now let her eat. Go ahead. Go ahead. Good girl. So tonight we mix it up a little bit. And we show some things for Chris on a drill that he can do with multiple dogs. That came from a question that Chris had. So for you guys that are new, anyone that's new, if you've got questions, these are great times to ask them. We go through and we do some dog training stuff right now, and then I go back and I answer a lot of questions. This came from an actual message that was sent from Chris asking about some of the stuff that he was working with multiple dogs. Now, what I like about it is we've given this dog a little bit of an opportunity to settle in. You guys will remember, I always feed the big dogs first. I ate before I fed the big dogs. When I got home, Vanessa's in. Welcome, Vanessa. When I got home, I ate. Now these guys are eating, and then we're going to feed the pup. And I'm going to do the same thing I did this afternoon. So for those who missed this afternoon, we did a live midday. Let me spin this. We did a live midday with these guys, with that pup. And the reason was because I put her in a new kennel today. I put her in a little bit bigger kennel. And the little bigger kennel proved to be an issue. It proved to be a bit of a problem for her. She struggled with it because, I don't know why, I imagine it's because it was new. So she struggled with it, and she whined, and she howled, and she barked. It took about 45 minutes for her to settle in. And then I let her out, and we fed her. So it was relatively late in comparison to most times. And what I did was, I went through the same routine with recall, sits, and remote sits. This is with Spry I'm talking. And then what we did was we went and I fed her in the laundry room in the new kennel. So I'm starting to get her, I want to get her more comfortable with that kennel. Come on, Ellie. So Ellie's done. Ellie's routine is very similar to Spry's. Get up on her place. Now I don't have to worry about her for quite some time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pup because she has settled. Ellie, get up. Get up. So this pup has settled pretty well, actually. I'm going to wait a little bit, make sure that it's solid. But as soon as she shows me that she is, I might take this time to go get her food ready. So I'm going to go over, I'm going to get her bowl of food ready. She's next. But what I'm going to do tonight different, similar to what I did this afternoon, is I'm going to actually feed her in that new kennel. I'm going to get her used to going into it. I'm going to get her used to liking it. And then tonight, instead of being on place, I'm going to put her in that kennel. I do the same thing, guys. Float the food. This is a good way to get her some water. I know Wyatt said, Wyatt had made a comment about the water. I haven't read it yet, but I'm gonna. So I let that food soak a little bit and get ready. Now, I'm gonna let this pup off. I'm gonna work her through the house. I'm going to work on some sits. I'm going to work on some recalls. I'm going to work on just the same stuff we've been working on. For those that are new, this isn't what it's going to look like when you start. For those that are new, go back 5 weeks, because it took us 5 weeks to get to here. And each week it was significantly different, but day to day you didn't see the difference. So I'm not seeing a lot of differences in what I'm doing today versus yesterday versus the day before. But if I look 3, 4, 5 days back, they're major differences. Because this little puppy couldn't do this in the house before. She couldn't do this with this many distractions. She was just a hellion. I had zero control over her. So we've built ourselves up to this control. So there's a real nice change from her. She's saying, I am ready. I am ready to do this. So, again, we're never going to call these pups off a place. I got some people that are having problems with place. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to tip this up, because this will help to avoid the issue. I had an issue this morning, I think it was this morning, where I had the dogs on place out here. So I'm actually going to leave Ellie there. I don't want to, though. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tip this one down. No, I'm going to set her down. I'm going to set her down. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this best. Ellie, come here. See how that pup just jumped up on that place? Ellie. Now she's so prone to jump off of it, guys. And what she did was she did that like 2 or 3 times. Ellie, come here. And I had to correct it. Ellie, come on. And that pup cannot get off of there. Ellie, come here. Place. So here's a transfer. Ellie, place. Sit. So I've transferred her place right now to that mat. She's old enough to understand it. This one is not. So what I'm really grateful for is she didn't jump off. Because the last couple times I've put her on it, she's placed herself, jumped up on a bed with an older dog, she's jumped right off of it. Because I feel like she's getting to the point where she's going, you know what, I got up, I can get off. And that's not the case. So when she gets up, she does not come off without me picking her up. I'm going to take her off. So I'm going to tip these beds up tonight so that I don't have that issue. It's a little bit of a difference. It's something that I've learned is going to help me. So right away, distraction, right? Places herself up. There it was. So we just saw it. So the one problem I have, she just showed you it live. Taylor, come here. Taylor. Place. See how that transfers with an older dog? Not with this one. So, pick her up off of there, because I just don't want to erode my place training. So I'm not going to give her a chance to fail. I'm going to tip that up. So now I've got dogs that are tempting. Come on, Spry. Come on. Spry. Spry, come here. Come on. No. Here. See that tone change? Come here. Come on. Sit. So that was a perfect example of, I tried to give her a shot. The temptation of Taylor was just too much. So I had to change my tone. And now that I'm working with her, I'm going to slow down, because her level is fast right now. So I'm going to change her pace. She wants to go fast. I'm going slow. Some of you guys, Brooke Christine, Max, couple dogs that I've seen, I would say the majority probably don't have this problem, but there have been several that have been what I call flat. They're a little bit low key. They're too lethargic. So I've told people, they've said, what do I do about that? My answer is, it's on you. Tone, your mannerisms, your level of excitement. You got to bring these dogs up. Trust me, I don't have to do much to get this. You want to see this puppy spin up? I'm not going to do this normally, but I'm going to show it to you. So I'm going to praise her for that. All right, come on. Let's go. Come on. Do you think that dog needs to get excited right now by me talking really fast and me talking loud? Because she's just going to bubble right over. Come on. Come on. Now she's just lost. She's lost over here. Look who's got a nose. Look who's got a nose, guys. No doubt about it. I love that. Come on. So I can get her amped up all I want. The question is, can you control? Can I get her back down? Sit. That's a very good girl. So my tone and my pace is what's going to change her. This is what I like. I talk about 75% more than I normally would just when we're doing these lives. Normally I wouldn't talk nearly as much. There'd be some tone, some mannerism. Be a lot of quiet though. And with her it'd be a lot of slow. I love her temper. I love her makeup. She's got enough life when I need it, but I can get her back down when I want to turn that down. I just really like that. I don't think it's specific to her. Most dogs have it. It's figuring out how to get it. Most dogs have that. We have to figure out how to get it out of them. So now I'm going to bring her over. So that's it. That's my lesson tonight with her. Sit. Sit. Good. Now I just picked up her bowl of food. That nose is just working. I love it. I love it. Let's do a little hunt command before we put her in. So, for those who haven't seen this before, this is our hunt command. Okay? I'm gonna get these mats that proved to be so tempting before. And I'm really getting kind of gutsy. I mean, I'm walking around this house pretty bold for that little pup. I don't see her right now. She doesn't see me. I gotta make this quick because I don't want to set her up to fail. Beautiful. We talked about this before. Someone who had a dog that as soon as they left the room, the dog jumped off the bed. So what do? You got to do? You got to get tricky. So I can sit here. She can't see me, but if you look right there, I can see her. She can't see me. So I can stand in the other room. She can't see me, and the second she moves, I'm right here to correct if I need to. So that's just a little move I can make on her. You can go on the other side of a door. You can go on the other side of a you can go on the other side of the wall here, and you can reach your phone around and do the periscope trick. But the second that dog breaks, you're there to catch him. And they understand, my God, he's everywhere. All right, so now, I just sprinkled some food. The reason I like these mats, this is just coincidence, the food blends in. Can you see the food there? It's hard to see it, right? So I'm going to give this little dog a hunt command. Her hunt command is find it. And you're going to hear my tone be very repetitive and real high energy when she gets in there. If she gets off that mat, if she's not on the mat, I won't give her a find it command because she's not going to find anything. But when she gets on it, I'm going to give it to her. It's like the old game of hot and cold when you're a kid. Hotter, colder. Warmer, 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 colder, colder, colder. You help people to figure out where whatever it is. That's the game we're playing here with our find it command. So I'm going to send her onto that mat. Okay. Wrong area. Find it. Find it. Find it. Find it. Good girl. Find it. 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 Good girl. Find it. Find it. Can you hear that nose? Find it. Find it. Drives her nuts when she hears find it. Find it. Find it. Find it. Find it. Good girl. Find it. Find it. Find it. Find it. I think she got them all. Find it. Good girl. Very good. You lay down, Taylor. That drives Taylor nuts because she hears that and she's like Pavlov ringing the bell. She hears me say find it, her nose is going, she knows there's something to be found. Now I'm going to bring this pup over. Come on, Spry, come here. Come here. Come on. Here, sit. Sit. Into the crate. I'm going to make sure I put it in far enough that she's got to get in all the way. I don't want to put it right at the door so she sticks her head in. And then I got to finish her off to get in. This is no different than what we've been doing in the kitchen now for weeks. Building up to the point where we could do this, guys. We didn't do this, it didn't happen overnight. It took weeks to get to do this drill in the kitchen and line up. So if you are new to it, go back and watch the old ones. You have to have all those parts and pieces to get to this point. I'm going to line her up, Spry. I'm going to send her in. Very good. Good girl. And she's going to get that little reward in there to eat tonight. So, second time we've done that where we fed her in the kennel tonight. It's a new kennel that she's struggling with. So that's part of why I was doing it. And the other reason is I'm just mixing it up. She's gotten very good at it sitting in the kitchen on the floor. So now I need to start add some dimensions to this. So, I'm going to let her eat. I'll know when she's done. She'll come out. I'm going to spin this. When she's done, I'm going to kennel her back up. I'm going to put her right back in there. So let me do this. I'm going to look here and see. This is usually, guys, when people that are new, where I do some, I go through and I find some questions. So, a couple things that I also, so we did Chris's feeding drill tonight. We did some different things in the kennel. The other thing that I want to talk about was new people. So, let me scroll through. These are the beginning when people were saying hello. First off, thank you guys for following. I know we got more than one follower. Our thing says one, but that can't be right. So I thank you guys for following. I appreciate it. I ask if you would share these to anyone you think this could help. We are in the process of training a little dog named Spry, and I've got other dogs that I'm training as well. So we need to share it to anyone who you think it'll help. That's the favor I ask of you guys. Oh, I've been binge watching for a few days now. Sophia, she's in. Welcome, Sophia. I like the late times when I have a chance to watch. So it did get later tonight, and I apologize for some. It probably works better. For some, it doesn't. Drusilla joined in. Hot lap. Jeff, you called it. She took her hot lap. Good evening. Let's see. Any questions? It says 2 for me. Can't be right. Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with the count thing tonight, but I should know at the end. So we got over that. Facebook is probably messing it up tonight. Just got done with dinner. Taco soup. David, I had tacos myself tonight. We treated ourselves to Taco Bell, my son and I. He had a basketball banquet. So all the new people watching, Spry likes blue thumbs and hearts. She does, Matt Green. Thank you for doing that. It was like earlier on Wild Rose live session. Numbers are wrong tonight. Chris, did you get a chance to watch Wild Rose? I know Mike does one. I think he does a monthly. It's really an extension of their journal. I'm usually never able to watch it live. Sounds like the pup's finishing up eating. But I usually watch him back. I watch him back. Look at that. So look who's very quickly picked up to the idea of I'm in here and I can't come out. This really is another version of It's another version of place. Notice it's much more difficult for her to stay in there because she's flat to the ground. It's so easy to take her foot off. If that lip wasn't there, it'd be super easy. It'd be extremely hard for her. Taylor, get into place. She even fades off. That's great for her to have the ability to hold back on temptation to come out. Now I'm going to close her in there. because she's going to have to start figuring out that she's going to be okay in that kennel. So that's the point of what we were feeding her in there for, and we're going to keep her in there. So let's see. I hope there's more than 2 people watching. I think there was. We're still there. Millie hardly drinks water. This is Wyatt. So Millie is a pup that he got through us. It's a Wild Rose dog. Great little dog. I really like her. Wyatt's going to use her as a therapy dog. Also going to hunt her. So Millie hardly drinks water, so I give her quite a bit of water in her food now. I let Hutch's food really soak up the water. It gives us lots of time to make them be patient. Usually I let it soak while we eat dinner, then feed the dogs. The longer the better for his digestion, less watering. So I've taken to that as well. I think my big dogs are just processing the food better wet. So, and I struggle with getting puppies to drink. A lot of times I find out that they're getting dehydrated. They just don't like to drink just water. So soaking the food allows me to make sure I get them water. So I'm big on it. I've been doing it with my big dogs. This weekend we got into we were traveling, so we didn't get to soak it every time, and that's all right. But when I have the chance, I'd like to do it. With my dog Lucy, we have an issue where at times she will get overexcited and tinkle a little. Now I have a feeling it's a submissive thing. How do I break that? I've heard a lot of people have that, and some dogs outgrow it. I don't know how old your dog is, Carrie. When they're real little, I see it more often probably than when they get older. I've seen it with certain breeds, I've heard, that are more conducive to it as well. But I think it comes back to an uncertainty. I think we got to build their confidence. I think it's probably, I don't know if it's submissive. It probably is partial, but it's just they're not confident, and so they get so. Sometimes it's excitement. So that's the part too with the puppies. If they're real little, I think that you do see them grow out of it at times. You can hear what's going down over there. A meltdown. She's pissed. She's in this big kennel and she does not like it. So she's going to have to learn to like it. That's all there is to that. So so what I would do, Carrie, is I would work on that confidence. I think that even without the tinkling problem, I think it's always building their confidence. Dogs need to be in a good state of mind in order to learn. So that's one thing I'm always shooting for, is getting these dogs comfortable. We did this tonight as I finally understood your description. So Chris is the one that I tried explaining what I did tonight in text. I typed it out to him. So now he saw it. So wish my house was more open so I was able to have a longer line. Windsor did break a couple times. After I corrected him, he finally stayed. Made it difficult sending Allie after that. She was because a lot of times you're going to correct the other dog and the other dog thinks you might be correcting it, and with you've got dogs of opposite personalities. Similar to what I had here, once I corrected, the first dog was hesitant to go. So that's just a good drill, Chris, for you to start working on. The first times they do it, they're going to be uncertain. But as soon as you do it enough that they build the confidence, you'll see it, and they'll start figuring it out. It's just like anything else, guys. This stuff takes a lot of repetition. There's just no way around it. It has to be repetitious, okay? So, and it takes time. We talked about the marathon versus the sprint. This is not a sprint, this is a marathon. We're raising dogs, we're not training them, okay? So that's something for the people that are new. We talk about changing the culture with our dogs. We are not training them, we're raising them. Just like we would raise kids, we don't train kids. We don't set aside 10 minutes a day to raise a kid. It becomes part of our life. So that's what we're going to do with this. Now I saw another thing that I liked today. I saw it, and it was a quote or whatever, an inspirational thing. But it said, marathon runners never, how did it go? Marathon runners don't win sprints, something like that. But the moral of it, the message is no different than what I'm trying to preach with these dogs is, this is not a race. It's not a sprint anyway. It's going to take time. All the stuff that we're doing is taking time. And if you look at what we've done over the last couple weeks, day to day, they're minimal changes. Week to week, they're pretty significant, pretty measurable. Month to month, it's going to be incredible, the difference. But if I try to measure my success overnight, I'd quit a long time ago. But then I see you bringing the bumpers into the drill and compared that to my lesson, just went down to a 4. Don't compare, Chris. You bring up a great point. Stop comparing. I had a long conversation with a really good friend of mine about this just recently. And his comparison was, he said something about making comparisons. He was making a comparison to Spry and what's going on with Spry and some of the stuff we're doing with Spry, and he's making comparisons to his dog. And he went to church the next day, and the sermon was about making comparisons to other people and using social media. So all this stuff is interwebbed, right? So social media allows us to see other people's lives and make a lot of comparisons. Well, social media is allowing you guys to see other people's dogs right now, my dogs in particular, and other people. I go through the same thing. I can't stand it when I see someone with a 4 or 5 or 6 month old dog. It says finished dog, ready for sale, shed dog, or bird dog, or any type of hunting dog. It just drives me nuts, because the holes that dog, they might be pretty good at something, have to be if we're calling that dog something, but the holes that dog has, I guarantee you, are so big you could drive a car and drop into them. They're going to come up if they're not there already. So the problem I see is with social media, the comparisons are made. A lot of people don't listen. A lot of people don't show the dog barking in the kennel. Today it was for 45 minutes. So a lot of people, I've posted pictures where this little baby angel is sleeping at Whitetails Unlimited in front of all these people. I think a lot of people went, if I could just get my dog to do that. Well, listen to her right now. Same problems that you guys have. So that's don't make comparisons. So Chris, I know you weren't trying to do that, but it led right into the comparison thing. Tonight I had Hutch come out of the kennel, walk past his food, and wait. He resisted the temptation. Building off. So Wyatt tonight did another variation of something we were doing. Call them off the food. Feed them and then call them off. Reset them. Once you have, the great part about this training stuff, guys, is once you have a dog that can recall, you can practice it a million different ways. Once you have a dog that can sit, you can practice it a million different ways. Once you can remote sit, you can use it all day long, all different scenarios. The problem is in order to do that, you have to be very repetitious. You'll notice if you go back and watch Spry, we did everything in the same place for days on end until it was perfect. As close to perfect as I could get it. I'm not going to do these drills in the kitchen where I start throwing all these curveballs at her until she's perfect with it fundamentally in one spot. And then I moved it and did it fundamentally perfect in another spot, and then another spot. And pretty soon I decided, I think she knows it. I think she gets sit. I think she gets recall pretty good. Not perfect. So we're working on recall. I'm not doing my practice out in the yard because I'd get it maybe 25% of the time. I'm practicing in here. When I go out there, I make sure to set up that I'm going to have success. If I don't, I got to change the scenario. Just ordered the brown antler dummy and the scent stick. Need another dummy to work with Maggie. I can't find my liquid scent. So I'm glad you ordered it, Cody. We'll be shipping it out. We are out of the back ordering. We've had some back orders the last couple of weeks, and I thank you for that. I also am embarrassed to say that we didn't plan well enough for some of our orders. We are out of that. So anything you guys order, we should be shipping. And I hate to say it because we're not Amazon, but we will ship it out as soon as possible. It usually goes out within a day or two at the most. We say 3 to 5 business days because I'd rather make a person happy by getting it to them early than piss them off by being late. So if you guys order, we are in stock with everything, including beds, with the exception of large. I've got more coming. Had a pretty significant setback with Tiffin tonight that I'm hoping doesn't affect her too bad. I'll know tomorrow when I work with her with Hold. Ozzy was gone on a walk with my ex-husband. We had Sassy on place, and I decided to work with Tiffin a bit on Hold and having her move around with it. Well, Sassy got off her place. My son corrected Sassy. Tiffin dropped the dowel and hunkered down against the ground because she thought she was in trouble. I did one more hold with her to end it on a good note, but she was not as into it as she was before Sassy got the correction. Chalking it up to a lesson learned and hope it's not too much of a setback. April, don't let that stuff bug you. Pick your elevation up. Get your dog more excited about it. You'll get through it. That stuff has to happen. That stuff has to happen so that you if everything goes perfectly, guys, dogs never learn. And you never learn anything about the dog. So April, you have to have stuff like that. You'll get through it. That's not something that's going to break. It's not something that's going to ruin anything. But you have to have those issues. You have to sometimes make mistakes in order to get corrections. So don't worry about that. Tried your earlier suggestion today of moving to a different room with work on remote sit. It was obviously a big change for him. I had to reduce the distance from about half, and I moved away from him in comparison to where he used to be to training in the kitchen area. Once I did, he was able to stay where he was supposed to. I'm assuming new area of the house, new distractions, no doubt about it. So Jeff, I think several of you guys, so this goes to the people that have been doing this for a while and sending me videos. Keep it up. You're executing. I love it. You're getting results. The problem now is you're going to get in a rut. You're going to do the same thing over and over and over again. And you're going to get really good at it, and you're going to go, she's got it, he's got it. And then the next time you try it in a strange place, you're going to be crushed because he doesn't have it anymore. It's because you're going to practice in a certain spot too much, and you're going to get in a rut. I get in a rut as a trainer all the time. That's why I got to mix this stuff up once we get going with it. I got to keep it fresh. I got to keep it fresh for the dog, and I got to keep it fresh for myself. And I got to make sure that the behavior, the habit, works through the changing of locations. The dogs are so sensitive to where we're working them. They memorize things. And we don't want memorization. We're not looking for tricks. We're looking for behavioral changes. Repetition and consistency are going to form the habits. Wanted to share a good positive that happened today. So Nicole, a friend of ours, is coming to another workshop. She's got Sadie, a little pointing dog. Took Sadie for a lesson with a lady that follows very similar training style as you with her Goldens. I was asking her about the inconsistency with Sadie's retrieves. Quickly she found I hadn't been as thorough with her hold conditioning as I should have, and she had holes in her hold conditioning and work ethic. After working on hold and letting her work around with more experienced dog and watching him work retrieves, she gave me 2 or 3 most enthusiastic retrieves I've seen in a while out of her. Bounced over just like a puppy. One was even a blind retrieve. We ended on that. Makes me even more excited for the clinic. I have her around dogs more experience and learn. I definitely have my homework. And I definitely have my homework. Love it, Nicole. Those are the moments, guys, that we're looking for. Little wins that give us enthusiasm to keep working. So looking forward to that. Here she's doing well. I did get a haircut. My wife noticed it too. Good stuff. Bought your puppy videos after talking about it, after talking to you. Sounds good. Jail and Richard, thank you. Guys, the DVD, here's the thing. You don't have to have the DVD. I've come to this conclusion. You don't have to have the puppy DVD. Here it is. I even set them on my counter. Puppy DVD, building a solid foundation. It's talking about heel, sit, stay, come when I call you. Okay, recall. A little bit of place training. There's some tying out, which is really connected to heel. So it's very foundational. The thing about the DVD is this. I don't think you necessarily, hey, go lay down. Go lay down. Lay down. She says, I don't like this puppy. Lay down. The DVD, I don't think you have to have it, to be honest with you. I think if you stick with me for the next, if you watch lives for the next 12 to 4, I'm going to say 14 to 18 months. If you watch these lives for the next 12 to 18 months, let's say, you won't need that. But if you're at a point right now where you're ahead of us or behind us, and you don't want to spend 18 months documenting this and watching this nightly, you want the condensed version, that's the DVD. Because the DVD is what I'm going to talk about. What I talk about in the DVD is what I'm going to talk about, but it's going to take me a year to talk about it. Because I'm kind of talking with Spry. And Spry, it's going to take a year to get through all this stuff, at least. And that's not going to get us through it, but it's going to get us a large portion of it. So thank you, Jail and Richard, for picking up the DVD. We've got the DVDs, so if you guys are interested, DogBone Hunters, where you can order them. But good job, Spry. That's great. We use the open kennel place frequently at school with Millie. I think it's a safety thing. That's the other reason I like that kennel. I want that kennel to be a safe place. Stephanie joined in, my beautiful bride. I want the kennel to be a safe place. We had a person that was working on getting their dog comfortable with the idea of place, or the kennel, and the dog was hating it, and they couldn't figure out how they were going to get that dog to go into it and like it, like ours seemed to. Apparently she doesn't anymore, but it's because we changed kennels. But she'd go right into that other kennel so quiet, and she didn't. So I said, get that pen, get that fenced-in area, set the kennel in there, open the door. And they were doing that. They said, well, it's interesting. She wants to lay outside on the pillow. So I said, put the pillow inside the kennel. So they put the pillow inside the kennel. Now the puppy goes in with the open door and lays down in the kennel and is falling asleep and enjoying it. He's finding it to be a safe place. Kennels shouldn't be punishment. Kennels need to be a safe place. Why hasn't anyone commented on it? No, they did, hon. That was not me that typed that, guys. It was my bride. Haircuts. Yeah. Now we'll talk about these for days. My 5-year-old dog, Bethel, used to tinkle all the time when she was a puppy. Anytime someone would come near, he would tinkle. She doesn't do it near as much now, but when she does, it's usually only when she meets new people. So Stephanie's gone through that as well. I think there is a lot of times where I hear them grow out of it. I think part of it when they're little puppies is just it's tough to hold it sometimes. It's why housebreaking sometimes can be tough. As they get older, they get control of that bladder better. And I think it's a confidence thing. I think it's a... So just out of curiosity, when you train dogs for other people, do they stay with you and you give them back when you're done? Or does the owner of the dog train them just with your supervision? How does that work? If they do stay with you, how do you not get attached to them and end up keeping them all a gazillion shed dogs? Well, Stephanie, if it were up to my wife, we would have a gazillion of them and none of them would ever go home. They do stay with us. So when we train dogs for people, we do it on a limited basis because I feel like there's only so many that I can do and maintain the quality. And they're very expensive. They live with me for anywhere from a year and a half, sometimes 2 years. I've had them as short as 10 months. It just depends. So I don't put timelines on it. When I train a dog for someone, it's based on when I feel the dog is ready. When the dog is ready, I'm ready, and the person that we're training it for is ready. So at a certain point, I train the handlers more than I do the dog. You can't just take a dog from me and take it home and work it. We spend time together, lots of time together. We get to know each other really, really well. So is it hard for them to let go and give them back? I used to tell people no. I used to say no because I know it's not my dog, and we send them home. I've lied about that for years. It's extremely hard. I look at every one of them like they're my own. I raise them like they're my own. So it's really hard, but we get to know the people that they're going to so well. They're kind of like family by the time we're done anyway. So we don't do a ton of them, but yeah, they live with us. They live right with us. More involvement that the people have, the better the transition goes, but there's got to be a good transition no matter what. Thank you, Jay. I'll talk dogs just about any time. Most of you guys know that. What's the benefit of the dog cot as opposed to just having a rug like Ellie and Taylor were getting on? The problem, Missy, with that is the elevated perimeter makes it so easy for both the dog to understand that it can't come off of there. It's physical. They physically have to step down. It's clear edge. There's no gray area. You're black or you're white. You're on or you're off. Now, for me, it helps me with my timing because my timing allows me to correct them at the right time. That mat right there, Taylor's on it completely. Okay? So she's on it completely, no problem. But what happens is it's very easy for the dog to lay down and look at here. Look at her elbow. It's off. So is she on or is she off? I don't know. I'm okay with what she's doing right now. But when they're little and they don't understand place, she's going, well, I'm on and I'm off and I'm kind of on. And if she rolls over a little bit, all of a sudden one elbow's on it, then the whole shoulder blade's off of it. And next thing you know, they're 50% on, 50% off. And then I'm going to go, oh, that's too much. I'm going to correct her. So I'm going to say, no, get on your place. Well, the dog's been there for minutes, maybe hours. I don't know how long. And if I don't correct it the second it happens, they don't understand. So it's way too much gray area. So the elevated bed allows for me to be very sharp with my timing as a trainer, and it also allows for the dog to be black and white. You're on or you're off. makes a huge difference. I've had several people that have been watching these guys that have had issues with place training. And as they called me back and said, I can't get it. I just can't get it. The dog won't stay. The dog won't stay. And we start talking about it. Well, are you consistent? Are you this? Are you that? Next thing you know, it's on a pillow. And, it just doesn't want to stay on that pillow. Sometimes the paws are off. Don't use a pillow. That's like building a house by driving nails with a crescent wrench. You could do it, but it's a lot harder. So get the right tools. It makes life a lot easier. Let's see, late to the show, but congrats on the 10,000 likes. Zach, you saw it. We did, and we talked about records last week. We hit a record on our Facebook. We hit over 5,000. We had just under 5,000 people watched it before I got off, and I think we had 140 viewers at one time. Tonight we've been stuck on one, so we're really slipping. But we broke a record, and I was pretty pumped about it. I said, I've got other records in mind that I want. Well, 10,000 was a landmark. So we got 10,000 likes or friends or whatever on Facebook, and to me that was a big benchmark. So it sounds ridiculous because there's a million pages that have all these different things. Well, I'll take our 10,000 because 9,900 of them are pretty active and pretty into this. So I like our percentages. But thank you, Zach, for noticing that. We actually hit it twice. We went up to 10,003. Steph sent me a picture, and then we went down. Someone disliked us. How do you dislike us? But we went down, and then we hit it again. So I think we're over it now. And I owe that to you guys. So thank you. Wyatt called me the ninja. I'm assuming you called the dogs the ninja, but what's with that? Someone sent an angry face, I think. You are now committed to live for 18 months. Hey. Save yourself the $29.99. Just commit your life to following live Facebook on DogBone. Let's see. Oh, you're telling me I'm committed to 18 months. I get it. I'm late sometimes to the party, guys. Your analogies crack me up, but they're pretty spot on. Thanks. I appreciate that. So even if you're starting this place training with a 3 or 4-year-old dog, then you should still start with a cot. I think regardless of age, it's black and white. So yeah, I think so. I think it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Can you do it without that? Yes, I think you can. Is it harder to do it? A lot harder. I didn't use elevated cots when I first started place training. I went to elevated cots because the first time I did, it made my life so much easier. But I don't think the age matters, Missy. 3 to 4-year-old dog or 3 to 4-week-old or month-old, I don't care how old they are. When something's new, it's new. So regardless, that's the beauty of this. When we do these feeding things, I don't care if your puppy is 7 weeks old, 7 months old, or 7 years old. I would not change a single thing about how I would do these. That's the great part about it. I think that's the part that confuses people, is because they see me doing a lot of stuff with these young dogs. Well, that's because my old dogs have already done it. They started when they were puppies. Can you do it with an older dog and get the same results? For sure. You would take the same steps. Dogs learn the same way whether they're 7 weeks old or 7 years old. But when they're introduced to something new, that's the steps that I take. So goals, so important. Congrats on the milestone. Thank you, Jeff. Let's see, Missy. I'm doing it with an 8-year-old dog in the cot. I initially put her on a rug, and I have to say, using the cot is much smoother. So I agree with you. So I think we're caught up, guys. 1 viewer tonight. Disappointing, but no, I'm joking. I know we're off with that. But thank you guys for following. Like it and share it if you would. If you haven't and you want to, it would be something that I would really appreciate, is if you gave us a review. To me, those are worth gold. I think that having me say that stuff works, having me say that things are good, is expected. It's our company. I'm not going to say bad stuff about it. But having other people say it, to me, is just really, really powerful. So that's the stuff that gives me energy. You guys commenting, you guys sending me questions, you guys sending me videos. Keep them coming, and I will keep answering them. I appreciate you guys' support. So you guys have a great night. We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. I got to bring kids to school in the morning, and then we'll be back here. So we'll probably do another feeding. Liver drags, watch for that, because we're going to do some tracking this week with that puppy. And the other thing we're going to do is some leash work. She's ready to start on some heel work. So Did a retrieve today. I did it on Instagram and shared it to Facebook. Didn't have time to do it. Brooke, we talked about you tonight. Brooke's joining in. We talked about her earlier. She's going to have to watch it a little bit. No problem that you're late. We'll allow it this time. I did a retrieve with the pup today in the shop. Went pretty well. I made a couple of retrieves with her this morning on my walk. So windy, you wouldn't have been able to hear anything. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting some people sending some pictures and videos of their puppies making retrieves, and I'm loving that. So we are conditioning. I think I made a point of saying I am starting officially conditioning in the shape of an antler with the idea of it's not going to hurt her. Anybody notice it's quieted down quite a bit? This is the one that I've been using, guys. It's an old one that I've had for a long, long time. I got an old one here and I got an old one at the office. And that's what we've been using. But I don't know if you noticed, but little puppy's quieted down for us. So what did it take? 20 minutes tonight? So we're going to continue to build off it, guys. This is not a sprint. This is not something that's going to happen very quickly. So change our mindsets and realize patience, 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 patience. And all of a sudden, we're going to look back on some of this stuff and go, wow, we've come a long way. We got a long way to go. So you guys have a great night. We'll talk with you tomorrow.